Well, hello everybody. It is I, Matthew, your friendly neighborhood technician, making another video for you out of Boise, Idaho. Today, we're going to be working on our mower, getting that finished up. But before we do that, we had a 1985 Corvette come in. And I've worked on this Corvette a few times. I'm very familiar with it. I also know and understand Corvettes. I've worked on a few Corvettes. I've even done a few engine rebuilds. So yeah, so there's my history and experience on the Corvette. So this is an 85, and I'm going to tell you something when it comes to the Corvette, new or old. The one thing about them is electricity is God, ground is God. If this car doesn't have the proper battery charge, 12 volts going to the system, I'm going to tell you right now, nothing's going to work properly. Especially these older ones back in the day when some of these newer systems were first being introduced. All right, so the history on this one is it was having a lot of hard time starting, and so the customer went ahead and, long story short, attempted to change his own starter. He did change his starter. In the process, he arced it. He didn't disconnect the battery, and he arced the starter. And so after he was done installing his new starter, he no longer had any power whatsoever to the dashboard or anything like that. So we have two diagnoses. The first diagnosis is obviously, what did he do that now causes nothing in the car to have power? And then the second diagnosis is the original complaint, which is no start or hard start. And so the first thing we did, just for fun, was we took the multimeter. I took the multimeter and just went ahead and tested our battery at the terminals. This battery's a little low, but it reads 1195 at the terminal. So we'll just round that up and we'll call that 12 volts. Probably needs to go on a trickle charger. It's been out here in the cold. So, but, you know, obviously we're good there at the post. So, and another thing I want to point out is I found these glasses in this engine compartment. I'm pretty sure they're my customer's glasses, so we'll just put that there. So, now that we know the battery's good, the next thing I want to do is I want to test my main battery cable, okay? And so I'm going to do that by going from the negative post. I'm going to find my main battery cable. This is the cable that's going to end up down there at my starter. And I'm going to cut into it. I've already done this just a little bit. I'm going to stick my multimeter in there. Okay, now I do get a reading and it changes. Look at that. I'm holding this as still as I can. Okay, so I do get a reading, but that's not enough. You see, this main battery cable should be reading 12 volts down to that starter, and it's not. Oh, look at that. If you wiggle it, okay, you can get it to change by actually wiggling. Now it's down to 0. There we go. Okay, and so if you wiggle it, you can get it to change. So a lot of times, when your Corvette doesn't want to start correctly, you can just simply grab this cable and wiggle it, and if it starts up, that's going to tell you that you've got a bad cable here. So that's good and all, and that's where we were originally at when the customer changed their own starter, arced the starter, and it would in turn shorted out the system. So now when you stick the key in, there's no power whatsoever, okay? No lights on the dash, nothing, but you got a good battery, you got a good starter. Well, he arced the starter, and by doing that, this vehicle has what's known as fusible links, okay? And it has what's also known as a main interlock relay. And so by arcing the starter, unfortunately, what the customer did on this one was, if you can see here, they blew the main interlock relay. Okay, and so then from there, we went ahead and started checking fusible links and other connections. Okay, and the main pigtail or connector here, where it was blown, is now blown. And so then from there, let's go ahead and check our mean. Okay, here we go. There you go, and you see how that just unclips and comes apart there for you. This doesn't look too bad. It's a little brown there, so I think we'll be good there. Now the other thing that I've gone ahead and done, and since it's kind of wet and snowy out, really don't want to do it again, is I've checked the 2 fusible links down by the starter, and those are also blown. So the original problem that we had was a bad starter cable that needed to be changed out, but unfortunately, in changing out the starter itself, the customer arced the starter because he did not disconnect the battery, and that went ahead and caused burnouts and blowouts all throughout the system. So the main interlock relay needs to be replaced. The 2 fusible links down at the starter need to be replaced, and the main starter cable needs to be replaced. And then we'll get this Corvette up and running again. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for supporting me, Matthew, your friendly technician. If you learned anything, or if you just enjoyed the video, please like and share. And I am now signing off.